Hi guys, how are you doing? So welcome to the channel. So there is a lot to discuss today and really important stuff happening and going all around the world. We would be looking today into the deep analysis for the inflation report that is coming tomorrow. It would be coming, a new day would be starting in 15 minutes, so it would be coming today, and along with that we would be having some of the data for the Canadian dollar as well. So before that, let's get into the understanding that how specifically the prices and the market has performed. And we can see right here that the Euro USD is bullish, the pound is bullish, yens are bullish, Swiss are bullish, Aussies are bullish, and then gold is bullish, silver is bullish, copper is bullish, oil is bullish, natural gas is not bullish, and BTC is bullish, ETH is a little bit bullish, SPX is uh, not bullish, and FTSE is not bullish, DAX is not bullish. So before jumping into this understanding of the data that is coming, we should be looking at some of the news that actually came. We can see that today there was a big hype that the Canadian were putting the tariffs, and similarly the US also put the tariff on, and on the aluminum and steel right here. Let's see that. So this is data that the British pound forecast, GBP USD boosted by the Trump's tariff uncertainty. Of course, we are looking at that, and then US summer on recession risk, inflation, trade war and Fed outlook, and US labor market dynamics tighten further, job openings and quit hires, trade war between Bank of Canada to cut deeper, and this is important, like Bank of Japan governor, no difference between in our views that and that of the market. So these are the different news that we are looking at currently. So the additional 25% of the tariffs to 50% on all aluminum and steel coming into the US from the Canada, and similarly Canada also put the tariffs on the electricity that would be affecting the three big states of United States. And that's a general outlook of the market right now. So let's look deeply into the understanding that how things are looking. So right here we can see that at 4:45 a.m. in Euro, the President Lagarde speaks. It's right here. Then pound 10-year bond auction is coming. That is tentative, and Euro German 10-year bond auction. Then at 8:30 a.m. we would be having for dollar CPI monthly, and core CPI monthly, then CPI monthly and CPI yearly. And for the Canadian dollar we would be having the Bank of Canada rate statement, and the overnight rate means the policy rate, the interest rate that they would be putting. So seems like there would be a decrease in here right here. And we do have the Bank of Canada's press conference, and then the crude oil inventories data that is also linked with the Canadian dollar. And as we know that the energy sector is under the action right now. And again, US 10-year bond auction similarly to the pounds bond auction right here. And then the federal budget balance, and we can see that Australian dollar inflation expectations and GBP pound price balance. So we would be looking deep into all of these data, then we would be jumping into the charts as we usually do. So this is a speaks of for the ECB, that is a European Central Bank, and so ECB has like a lot of influence specifically in monetary policy for the Europe. So as a head of the ECB, which controls the short-term interest rates, she has more influence over the euro value than any other persons. Traders scrutinize her public engagements as they often used to drop subtle clues regarding the future monetary policy. So 10-year bond auctions, the average yield on the 10-year bonds the government sold at auction, and the bid to cover the ratio of the auction. So yields are set by the bond market investors, and therefore they can be used to decipher investors' outlook and future interest rates. And to cover the ratio, to cover bid to cover ratio represents the bond market liquidity demand, which can be used to gauge the investor confidence. So guys, bond yields are actually directly linked to the currencies. So if the currency is getting stronger, the bond yields will be getting stronger. And then most important data that is coming out is CPI. CPI is known as inflation, and inflation is really important for the country because through the inflation the more projects are being done, so more projects are being added. Because of the money printing, big projects can be done, but if there's no inflation out there, so the big investors wouldn't be placing the money in the big businesses. So the change in the price of the goods and services purchased by the consumers, so it is like measured through the change in the price, and the food and energy prices account for the quarter of CPI, but they tend to be very volatile and distort the underlying trend. So the consumer price actually accounts for the majority of the overall inflation. Inflation is important for the country valuation and lead prices to raise the interest rate out of respect. So you need to understand that interest rates and inflation are need to be balanced. If they are not balanced, so it would be a problem. So in the difference between the core inflation is that the food and energy sectors are excluded from the core CPI, and simple CPI includes them. And then we have like a CPI yearly, and we can see that the change in the price of goods and services purchased by the consumers, then yearly would be more important because that would be actually representing the actual value out there. So the release monthly about 16 days after the month's end. So this is released after 16 days after the month's end, and similarly that. Then we have the Canadian dollar Bank of Canada rate statement. That is the statement for the interest rate. So interest rates which major financial institutions borrow and lend overnight funds between themselves, and the rate usually decides the price into the market, so that tends to overshadow the Bank of Canada's rate statement. Short-term interest rates are paramount factor in the currency valuation, and it predicts how the rates will change in future. So it is also known as interest rate and key interest rates, or policy rates, or overnight holding rates. These are the different names for it. And then the press conference that whenever the rates are being changed. So crude oil inventories is the change in the number of the barrels of the crude oil held in the inventory by the commercial firms during the past week. And federal budget balance, it is also important, the difference in the value between the federal government's income and spending during the previous month. So income should be of course greater than the forecasted value, and a positive number indicates the budget surplus and negative indicates the deficit. So we can expect a big deficit out here that we are looking in the forecasted value. Right here you can see that the federal income was so less than the spending that is forecasted, and previous was also less. Let's see the trend out here. It's 128 right here, 123 minus 269, and the positive was in 2024 around about 246.3 billion. But most probably, like, we have been looking on the downside from past few years. And so for the Aussies, the percentage that the consumer expect the price of the goods and services to change during the next 12 months. So this is a full report. It is an expected value, or the percentage that would be expected to be released, and expectation of the future inflation can manifest into the real inflation, primarily because the workers tend to push for the higher wages when they believe that prices will rise. So it's about the expectation from the consumers and the prices all around, and then rate the level of diffusion index based on service property surveyors. So this is the property surveyors are actually surveyed in order to find out the housing rate. So it is a leading indicator of the housing inflation because the surveyors have access to the most recent price data. So we do have a lot of data coming around. We might expect moves in the London session as well in order to prepare for these datas out there. So most probable time to specifically work around for on the basis of the Eastern Standard Time or New York time, it would be around like 6:30 to 12 o'clock, or maybe afterwards would be fine as well. So let's jump into the charts as well, so that we can actually understand that how things are specifically looking right now. So guys, like, the most important thing right here, we are looking at DXY, and we can see that the DXY broke out of this zone around here, making this ABC pattern around here, or 1 to 3 pattern. We can see that rally based rally stuff, and then there was a liquidity grab around here from this point, and we can see that after that the price broke around this structure and went down directly. This was a good clear range around here that has formed, and after that the price has been going into the channel here. So this is a good sign, a first indication that the prices are going on the downtrend like that, and after going on the downtrend, the prices turn into the channel formation, and then they go into the range formation like that, and then the prices turns into the range formation, and then it might break on the upper side like that. So it seems like a good indication right now based on the price action. And you see this level around here. This level was the point where the election happened in United States on 6th of November, and as the prices touch this level, we are looking this channel formation and looking this reaction around this point. So the reaction which we got here was like quite important, that we discussed yesterday as well, based on the structure around here. So what could be the next formation? What I would be actually waiting is, I would be waiting for this channel to actually to develop fully, and then I would be waiting that if the prices goes into the range formation, something like that, and then with the CPI stuff, we might get a break on the upper side like that. But it is really important to understand that how the inflation would be taken in United States, because we see that the forecasted value is being decreased. So whenever the inflation is lowered, the currencies also tends to go on the downside. So there might be a different chance that if this channel actually continues around here, so we might see a downtrend move as well. So but it is actually based on that scenario. But most currently idea that could be developed is this range and this range right here, and let's see how specifically this range forms itself although we see a 3 candle retracement right now. So the prices went back down, so we see a 3 candle retracement on the upper side, and this 3 candle retracement sometimes triggers the continuation of the momentum. So that's how it is currently looking. So let's move forward. So now we are looking at USD CAD right here. So this was the point right here when the new Canadian president was prime minister was announced, and Justin Trudeau just gave up his seat, and another prime minister was coming. So this was the point right here. And after that, when the tariffs were imposed from United States on the aluminum and steel, and from the Canadian dollar we saw a reaction for 25% of the tariffs as well on the electricity. We can see that this was the momentum that actually got built up, and this is a big candle with the big wick that was formed, pushing the Canadian dollar more towards a weaker side and strengthening the dollar in front of the Canadian dollar. And then there was again a candle that is kind of like a spinning top, but with the big wicks. And then we can see that the prices are still holding it here right now. So similarly, I believe that the continuation can happen, because the Canadian dollars, if they reduce their interest rates tomorrow, so as the interest rates are also lowered, so it also affects the currency in a negative way. So most probably, like, we would be seeing a reaction around for the breaking on the upper side like that. We might get a big move tomorrow because of the both of the data that are coming out are quite prominent and important. Now we are looking at USD CHF. So eventually, after a long range, at this point we can see that the breakout has happened around here, and it seems like quite legit breakout right now, and prices are pushing on the upper side. We can see right here a small pullback as well, and this pullback right here is also quite clear. Like, the breakout happened, prices pulled back again within the zone, couldn't break this level, is still holding, and then the breakout from this point, and prices are continuing on the upper side. So it shows that the dollar is getting the strength right now. Although on the DXY we see that only the 3 candle formation, but here we see that more push. Similarly, USD JPY, we can see the peak formation low has been formed right here, and we see these pin bars as well. That is a good sign that prices are pushing on the upper side. So most probably, like, the prices can reach up to this level first in order to get a reaction, or we might see a reaction around this point as well. So in that case, if the price goes on the upper side, so we might be able to get some kind of reaction around here. That's why I'm placing my alert right here. And let's see how the outlook looks like. Euro USD, as we can see in DXY, we got 3 candle retracement on the DXY. Like, DXY was down there, so we were getting like 3 candles on the upper side like that. And similarly in the euro, right here, this channel formation, and now this range formation can be formed. And if there is a break of this range, so any sort of pullback around after breaking of this point, this level can give us a great opportunity on the downside if the prices reacts like that. But on the other hand, if the dollar again starts getting weaker, so there is much likelihood that the prices can continue, because this is a high low, higher high, lower high, sorry, higher low and higher high, and then higher low, and this is how the trends continue. But it seems like the trend is fading a little bit of it, because you see right here, this is a good reaction that happened, and now the trend is failing a little bit. We can see that the sellers are being induced around here, sellers induced around there. This was a good amount of time which the fight went on, and then after that we can see the wick right here. So the idea is that many people would be selling the euro right now, but I believe that only if the prices can come back down here and give us a break of structure around here, so we might see a move, something like that. That is possible. But if the move happens like that, and we then after like breaking the structure and we see like a reaction happening around here, then we can actually trade this point. So we can see right here that this pair is euro GBP right here, and we can see the strength of the euro. It's quite more than the pound, and that's why we saw this type of move around here. We saw at different momentum at different moments the pound started getting a little bit of stronger, but then we can see that this strength of the pound started fading around here, and then euro took over, and this is a clear move out there on the upper side. And still now the pound is weak and euro is stronger, so it simply means that euro is quite stronger than the pound. And then euro with the Aussies, we can see that there were different times that you can see right here and right here. It was a good powerful structure out there, and that actually pushed the Aussies down on the downtrend. And then see that after we had a breakout from this point, a big breakout, then there was a pullback. Prices tried to push on the upper side, failed to break on the upper side, came back down there, retested this breakout zone, and then gave us a good clear move, and now we can see a reaction happening here. So there is a good likelihood that this trend might continue like that, because for euro we don't have much of a data out there, and for Australian dollar the data isn't that strong. And similarly in the in the kiwis out here, in the euro kiwi, that is euro NZD, we see that there's a breakout that happened with this engulfing bar, and then the prices again tried to retest that level, then again broke on the upper side with this big bullish bars, came back down, retested the level, came back down again, retested this level, and then again started continuing the trend. So this was a good probability that people or masses might have started selling the euro NZD from this point, but we could have seen that the strength is a lot, and in that case we can see that the prices continued on the upper side, and we are still getting a reaction around this point, similarly to euro Aussies. And now we have euro CAD, and we can see that the CAD isn't only impacted by the US dollar but also by euro. We see a similar structure around here, that prices pull back around this zone. First the prices actually broke out of the zone around here, and after the prices broke out of this zone there was a pullback happening around here, and then prices continued. We saw a good amount of sellers being induced right now, but the idea is that we have to wait until and unless either the price develops this double top around here and then start breaking on the downside, then we can actually think of entering around here. But the idea remains the simple, that until and unless I believe that it is bullish, we wouldn't be getting the structure, then we can actually take a trade after that. Similarly, this is euro JPY, and euro JPY is still strong. Euro is still strong than the yens out here, and we can see that the prices broke out of the structure around here, went on the upper side, give us a double bottom around here, and it's trying to like go on the upper side. So most likelihood is that there might be a small amount of pullback around this point, because the breakout that happened is not as stronger. So if the breakout is weak, we might see a range around here, and then the prices can continue on the upper side like that. And Euro Swiss gave us this breakout zone. This was the breakout zone for the Euro Swiss around here, and we can see that the breakout was really good, and exactly price came back down there, retested a few times, trapped a lot of the traders in who were trying to sell around here, and after that price started giving us a small pullback. And you can see right here, this is a doji candle or a pin bar candle, and we can see that the prices started reversing from this point and going on the upper side like that. So what actually happened is that this setup is much better than the yens, because the idea is that we do have a one top around here. So if the price is unable to break on the upper side and started pushing back around here, around this zone, and then breaking on the downside, we can take this move, and this is a clear zone around here to capture a price action around till this point. So in that case, I would be moving my alert around this zone, so that if there is an opportunity around here, so that could be taken. So now pound USD, we're looking at pound USD, and the pound USD is going sideways right now, and not as strengthful as euro. And we can see this is a small range that is being developed right here, and dollar is giving a little bit of a hard time, but it's not exactly hard as we can anticipate right now. So let's see how this range actually completes out, and we have to actually wait for the CPI data based on this. Similar structure for euro, as the euro Aussie, we have the same structure for pound Aussies right here. We can see that the small amount of pullback happened. This was a great pullback around here, and you can see that the way the sellers were induced around here, the message would be, or the retail traders might have started selling from this point, and if they would have started selling around this zone, look how they are trapped. And so a double top prices were unable to break on the upper side, and we saw the support and resistance SNR level right here, and then the prices break on the upper side. So similarly here, as in GBP NZD, right here we are looking at GBP NZD. So this was the structure that was formed. We saw a good reaction on the downside. Prices again pushed on the upper side, failed to break on the upper side, came back down, and now this is the third time the prices are trying to break on the upper side, and this is the level right now. We can see that the prices aren't breaking, but the most important thing is that this range formation on the upper side might break the prices on the upper side, because whenever the ranges are formed underneath the resistance, so most probably things are that it's gonna break, and because we do have a good amount of bullish momentum right here, so there might be like a lot of profit taking that might have triggered this type of reaction around this price action. So now we are looking at GBP CAD right here. We can see the similar structure as euros, and we got a reaction around this point, and a small amount of pullback, and then continuation. And this was like a 3 times touch, 1 touch, 2 touch, and 3 touch. Prices came back, but see the alert right here is exactly at this point, and this alert would actually signal the weakness when it would be happening. So there is no weakness because this alert wasn't triggered. So it's really important when you guys are working, so do place alerts because alerts are really important. So this is GBP JPY right here, and we can see that this was the range which I was actually looking at, because I'm currently looking at the measured move for this range, and this is the measured move on the downside, and this is the measured move on the upper side. And what ended up happening that the pound got weaker in front of yen each time, gave us this type of move on the downside, and you see that there are like a lot of candles around here, not a good downtrend move. And after that we got a good pump from the pound, because this move wasn't as good. That was like extremely signaling, this move was like clearly signaling that the downtrend, the buyers are getting stronger each time. And you see like the selling happened, but it was pushed on the upper side. The selling happened again, pushed on the upper side with the wicks, and then there was a break on the upper side. Based on this engulfing, we can see that the price actually broke on the upper side. So for this type of move, guys, it's really important for you to actually, if anybody wants to take, and it should be taken based on the correlation with other pairs, because the moves aren't clear. So similarly, like euros, we do have like pound Swiss, and we can see the relation right now that this is the high of the range around here, and this is the low of the range around here. So prices when reached to that level, they broke out, pound got stronger and pushing on the upper side like that. We do have this clear range in front of us, and sometimes people call this as an imbalance as well. So it might get filled and price might push on the upper side, because we can clearly see the breakouts that are happening around here. So this is a breakout, pullback, continuation, and then again a pullback, so which might be continuing on the upper side like that. So it all depends upon the pound as well, that either it gets stronger or not. So in regard to the US dollar, we can see that Aussies weren't that strong, and we couldn't find enough of a momentum push on the upper side as compared to the pound and euro. We can see that the move is, price is pushing on the downside. We can see a clear break of structure around this point, a clear break of structure, and then prices came back down, pulled back into the zone, into this order block right here, and now we can see the reaction happening. But it can give us a really good move on the downside, but on the other hand, this is also an order block right here where the reaction is happening. So it is like a bit of an ambiguity right now, because the idea is that if the dollar gets stronger, then we can see that this price can literally come down as the structure. But on the other end, if you see on the bookish side of the move, we can see that this is making a channel right here, building up the liquidity, and we can see that the prices goes on the upper side like that, which is unlikely to happen because Aussies are quite weak, and we just know that euro has been like on a really bullish sense. It has made like a big structure. Similarly, pound has made a little bit of a big structure, and euro has started beginning a little bit of a range formation or channel formation, and similarly pound. So there's less likelihood that we would be getting this type of move. So I would be keeping the eye that if the selling happens against the USD dollar, so Aussies would be my favorite pair to even take a trade. Similarly, right here we are looking at AUD and ZD. AUD and ZD is showing that although Aussies are quite weak in front of NZD. We can see that we have seen this type of move happening around here. And what happened afterwards, that we can see right here a double bottom has been formed. And each time the prices are pushed on the downside, we can see that the buyers are being induced. And similarly, we can see that the price opened around here, and price went downside, and then price went back up and closed around here, which signals a bullish trend. But in that case, guys, it's really important that we can get a first breakout, a proper breakout, and then a pullback around here, and then prices can continue on the upper side like that, and then go on the upper side like that. But it's really important to see that how the Australian dollars are specifically performing internationally. And then AUD CAD right here, we can see that the Canadian dollar is weaker, and that's why we see this type of momentum move on the upper side. But most important thing to see is that we do have this pattern developing. It is quite incomplete right now, and we can see that this is a triple top type of a pattern, and overall Canadian dollar is weaker, so that's why we are looking at a current reaction that is happening in there. Then AUD JPY. So Australian dollar has been weaker, and we can see that each time this is a wonderful opportunity point that got triggered. And around this point, you can see that the liquidity was taken from this point, and after taking the liquidity, the price is pushed on the upper side. So we got a first reaction around here. It's around about 92, and then we can see that again the reaction got occur exactly on the similar level. We did see a breakout around here, but it was a failed breakout. This could be a peak formation. So let's see that how Australian dollar performs in front of yens. So we have to actually, for the yen trade, we have to see the correlation spec, because the structures are quite complicated. But overall, we are getting a reaction around here that might push the prices on the upper side like that. And AUD CHF right here, we can see that this liquidity grab around this point, a swing failure pattern around this point, and then prices are pushing. So it seems like they are building the level right here, but there is no breakout or anything like that that actually signals the momentum on the upper side for the Swiss. But overall, it seems that Australian dollar is a little bit stronger than Swiss, but it's not as exactly as we should be thinking. And this is a New Zealand dollars chart, and we can see right here that there's a small structure that has actually broken down, but we can see the wicks developing around here, then a pullback around here, failed to break on the upper side, and prices can push on the downside like that. And similar structure right here, this could be our first target, and if the continuation of the price happen, we can lock the prices around here and then further moving down towards the downside. But for this type of reaction, guys, it's really important that the prices should have broken around here, or the prices body should have, candle body should have closed around here. But we see that the prices came back down here and then reversed back on the upper side. So it still shows that the weakness of the dollar around here. Similarly, NZD CAD, we can see that the Canadian dollar was weak, and we got a wonderful reaction around this order block, and we can see that the reaction is quite clear around here. And after prices went down, we can clearly see that the Kiwis got stronger around this point, and this was one push, two push, three push, and prices went down. And again, the prices have been trying to break on the upper side. So this is a small range that is developing, and if the price breaks, we can get a good move on the upper side and this continuation of the range towards the upper side. But it's really important to see that how the Bank of Japan is reacting right now, because its Bank of Japan is right now, the yens are basically favorites because the dollar is pushing on the downside, so that's why we're seeing that yens are taking control as a safe haven. And NZD-CHF right here, although they have given us this great structure around this bottom, we can see that the peak formation, low formation has happened around this point. The liquidity grab similarly like Australian dollar, but we haven't seen any kind of like a proper structure break on the upper side. And this was a peak formation that is local, and similarly prices came back into the structure, but they are unable to break on the upper side like that. So let's see that how the reaction actually occurs around here, and if we can get a move. On the other hand side, guys, if this low isn't complete low, we might start looking for the reaction around this point for the downside as well. But it's really important to understand that New Zealand dollar, how New Zealand dollar performs in front of like Swiss franc, because Swiss franc is like quite strong right now overall, and CAD JPY. When it comes to like CAD JPY, things are a bit into the range right now. Prices has formed this low around this point, and this low is quite important because you see this level, and prices have filled those levels all around, like all the imbalances that were made around about like 5th August 2024, and we can see that prices came all the way down there, and after that we can see that this formation happening. And if we have a break around here, but it's really important, like the Canadian dollar data is coming tomorrow, so the break might happen around that time zone. But simply it's really important to see that how Canadian dollar perform, because there are a lot of fundamentals behind that as well, as we have discussed the tariff stuff and all that. And CAD CHF, we can see that similarly range structure around here, prices are unable to break on the upper side like that. So for a continuation trade, if somebody want to try this continuation trade around here, so this could give us a good move on the downside as well, in order to like retest this structure. So Swiss JPY, we can see that this was a range formation in Swiss that was happening, and right now prices are still in the overall range. Prices are in the range right now like this, and on the other hand there was another local range around here, and this is a higher time frame range, and then the prices came back down, reaching around this order block, unable to break on the lower side as well. So it seems like the Swiss is stronger than the yens, but unable to break on this upper side as well. So right now we are getting a good reaction around here. We do have like pin bars around here, can be one of the favorite pair to actually induce the trades in that, in Swiss JPY. Like looking at that, and I'm getting a little bit of interested in this pair because of these pin bars around here. And but in order to take the trade, we have to actually compare it with the other pairs of yens, that how they are reacting, so that we can understand how yen is actually performing. So guys, that's it for now, because the DXY is standing right on right here, and we have discussed that already. So take care, guys. But before that, guys, I'm gonna like look at if somebody has some question around here. So seems like there is no question. So that's it, guys. That's it from me then. Take care.